We are going to dig straight into the science on this one because you saw the titles of this episode. It's a bold statement. This is serious business. I'm about to change your chicken life. So sit down, buckle up, grab a snack, maybe a drink, or actually, you should probably grab the snack and the drink before you sit down and buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. Wait a minute. Are you watching this in the car? It's kind of weird. We are starting with an explainer on white versus dark meat. The color difference between a chicken breast and a chicken thigh is largely due to the amount of myoglobin found in each. Myoglobin is a dark red oxygen-binding protein that provides a rich source of oxygen to muscles that do strenuous and continuous activity. Chicken thighs contain more myoglobin and therefore appear darker than chicken breasts, which do short bursts of work with plenty of time in between to refuel on oxygen. Now that color difference can tell us a ton. Check it out. More myoglobin tells me that this muscle does continuous work. In order to do that work, those muscles need fat for fuel. That means it has a richer flavor because fat is flavorful. That continuous work also demands supportive connective tissue, particularly collagen. Collagen is a triple helix protein that unwinds into strands of moisture-binding gelatin through extended cooking. All we need to see is the color of the meat, and we now know we want to cook it long enough that the collagen dissolves into gelatin and the meat turns tender and juicy. Please welcome our chicken thigh. And the opposite is true for white meat. Less myoglobin tells me that this muscle does short bursts of activity, doesn't contain much flavorful fat, and lacks collagen that can dissolve into gelatin over a long cook time. It needs to be cooked to as low of a temperature as possible to retain all natural moisture and keep muscle fibers from toughening up. And this, my friends, is our boneless, skinless chicken breast. If you've ever had a dried out, stringy, flavorless chicken breast, which I know every single one of you has, it's because the breast needed to be treated like white meat, but was in fact handled like dark meat. I'm talking cooked over high heat for an extended period of time, braised, cooked to a high internal temperature. The list of crimes is long, and the chicken breast criminals even longer. But now we know better. No more turning a blind eye to the color of chicken breast. Embrace it, and then use science to make perfect, flavorful, tender, juicy, delicious breasts every damn time. Here's how. We can increase juiciness and tenderness in chicken breasts in two primary ways. We'll call them chemical and physical. First up is chemical. Applying salt to muscle proteins changes their structure, allowing them to hold onto more moisture. We use this technique all the time for things like turkeys, steaks, roasts, you name it. Salt obviously seasons the chicken, but the magic it performs in terms of juiciness is just as important. Salting is as simple as sprinkling kosher salt on a chicken breast and letting it sit. Salt diffuses into the meat and changes the structure of the muscle proteins, allowing them to hold onto more of their own natural juices. Doing this early is best, as it takes time for salt to move. You want at least 45 minutes, but 4 hours to overnight is going to give you serious impact. You can also brine. The salt in the brine seasons the chicken and promotes a change in its protein structure, reducing its overall toughness and creating gaps that fill up with water and keep the meat juicy and flavorful. Brining can work faster than salting and can also result in juicier lean cuts, since it adds moisture versus merely retaining it. Combine 1.5 quarts of water and 3 tablespoons of salt. Now I'm also going to add an equal amount of sugar, as I like that balance of flavor, but it's totally cook's choice. Now we'll whisk until the salt and sugar are dissolved. We add the breasts and let them sit for 30 minutes or up to an hour. You can also use salty ingredients in a marinade. Something like fish sauce provides plenty of salt, as well as glutamates, which provide meaty intensity. For really great grilled chicken breasts, combine chicken breasts that have been pounded to an even 1/2 inch thickness with water, fish sauce, honey, salt, and pepper in a sealable bag. Press out the air, seal, and fridge for 30 minutes. I love to grill up a big batch of these breasts and then use them on salads and sandwiches throughout the week. The last chemical option is a really cool one, baking soda. Adding baking soda to meat is a common technique in Chinese cooking. It raises the pH of the chicken where it touches the surface. That prevents the proteins from squeezing together as tightly during cooking, leading to really tender, moist chicken. It is particularly effective on ground and thinly sliced meats with lots of surface area for the baking soda to come in contact with. It works wonders in one of my favorite Vietnamese techniques. For this caramel chicken, I combine 1 tablespoon baking soda and 1 1/4 cups cold water, and I add my chicken pieces. Now, chicken thighs would be the normal go-to here because this is a braise, but I'm using chicken breast to show you just how powerful baking soda is. We'll let it stand at room temperature for 15 minutes, then drain and rinse. Next, we season our caramel with plenty of fish sauce and ginger, and then cook the chicken in it. After thickening the sauce with a little cornstarch, we serve it up with plenty of jasmine rice. So juicy, so flavorful. It's just so juicy and so flavorful. So juicy, so flavorful. It's so juicy. Whoa. Got kind of stuck in a juicy, flavorful loop there. Okay, so we did it. We covered chemical. Let's go to the kitchen and get physical. Internal temperature has a massive impact on how tender and juicy a chicken breast is. So if we pay careful attention when cooking chicken breasts, we can keep them juicy simply by not overcooking them. But of course, chicken in this country throws an extra curveball when it comes to internal temperature. The CDC estimates that 1 in 25 packages of chicken at the supermarket contains salmonella, a bacteria that can make us pretty sick. Salmonella can be killed by being heated to 165 degrees Fahrenheit, that's at the center of the breast, and then held at that temperature for less than a second. That is a guaranteed way to make sure your chicken is safe to eat. But what a lot of people don't realize is that salmonella can also be killed when held for 10 seconds at 161 degrees and 45 seconds at 155 degrees. In fact, it's all just a matter of time and temperature that you can see on this chart. Now keep in mind that the time required goes up with the fat percentage. The good news is that using the chemical options we just covered, breast meat will still be juicy at 165 degrees. But it doesn't mean you always have to go that high. I cook chicken breasts to 160 or even 155 all the time, and I just ensure that they remain at that temp for up to a minute, which is easy peasy. But if that's playing a little too fast and loose for you, there is a foolproof way to cook your breasts to a lower temperature and guarantee their safety, and that is with sous vide. You simply match up a time and temperature on that curve. I personally like the texture of chicken breast that is sous vide at 155 degrees. So I simply drop the chicken in for a swim at 155 degrees and leave it in there for at least an hour. Now it won't overcook because the bath is set at 155, and that hour is plenty of time for the entire chicken breast to reach 155 and then stay there long enough to be safe. Just look at how juicy and tender the sous vide chicken breast is. That is destined for tomorrow's chicken salad. But my favorite method for well-browned, super juicy breast is the low oven reverse sear. Check it out. After using a fork to open some channels in the thicker part of these breasts, I season them all over with kosher salt. This salting step can be done ahead of time as we talked about before. Then we place the chicken, skin side down, in a baking dish and cover tightly with foil. Now here's the key bit. We want to slowly bring the entire breast up to temperature so that no part gets overcooked. The low 275 degree oven is great for that. By wrapping the dish in foil, we trap moisture, which keeps the exterior portions from drying out and actually speeds up cooking by limiting evaporative cooling. Think how warm it feels on a humid day versus a dry day. We'll take these to 145 to 150 degrees on an instant read thermometer, which takes about 30 minutes. One huge benefit of the setup is that we set the shape of the chicken breast to have a totally flat side. That flat side will make excellent contact with the skillet. Now it is time to sear. After patting them thoroughly dry, we'll paint on a mixture of butter, flour, cornstarch, and pepper, and sear them in our skillet that just started to smoke. For those of you who have tried to get a good sear on boneless, skinless chicken breasts in the past, you know that you get weak results at best. So we designed a formulation that leads to deep, flavorful browning. The butter and flour both provide protein, which undergo the Maillard reactions in the presence of intense heat. The flour and cornstarch wick and trap moisture coming from the chicken to prevent it from flooding the skillet and impeding browning. Using all flour led to a bready coating, but a mix of flour and cornstarch was great. Pepper adds lovely warmth and complexity, but this is a great stage to add other spices as well. They will bloom in the hot skillet. After searing for a couple of minutes on the first side, we'll paint the side facing up with more magic browning spread, and then flip. These breasts temp out at 160 degrees and will easily climb to 165 thanks to carryover cooking. Are they browned? Check. Are they juicy? Check. Are they seasoned? Check. Are they exciting and never boring? Not so much. Here's where we're gonna let science get some bench time and just get creative. There are so many ways to dress up chicken breasts so that they really impress. For our grilled breasts, I love to grill some lemon halves and scallions alongside them, and then make a quick lemon scallion dressing to douse them with. Just thinly slice the scallion, juice the charred lemon over the top, add a big glug of olive oil, and some coarse salt. Wow, that looks so good. And for our seared breasts, I got an idea. Let's make a shallow swoosh of a warm, herby Greek yogurt sauce. We'll pop the chicken on top and then spoon on this rich, tart, super quick tomato ginger sauce. Yum. And of course, our caramel chicken. It is so juicy and flavorful, it needs nothing more than jasmine rice to help us soak up every last drop of sauce. All of this chicken in front of me is incredibly juicy. It is tender, and it is well seasoned. Most importantly, there isn't a boring bite in sight. By using your eyes and then applying some smart science, you can do yourself a big favor. Never again eat a dry or boring chicken breast, because this is definitely how to eat chicken breasts. Thank you all so much for watching. Now, we're into season 6 of What's Eating Dan, and I recently realized I've never thanked my parents in the credits. It's just crazy. Anyway, there are links to all of the recipes from this episode below, and they're really nicely located near the subscribe and like button, so you should check those out. But the really big question for today, and this is what I want to hear about in the comments, is would you rather fight one horse-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized horses? Let me know, and I'll see you next time. And you would just kick all the little guys.
Try.
Yeah, what's a little horse gonna do? Kick you?
Yeah, I mean, horses don't really, I mean, they can bite, but they don't have like super sharp teeth.
Well, if they can kick, they kick from behind.
Yeah, but it'd be like getting hit with a twig.
A horse-sized chicken, I mean, that's gonna be terrifying.
But also the chicken's they're not usually violent by nature. So.
Yeah, but you're fighting it.
I mean, clearly something has gone down because you're fighting it, right? Like something.